So I do a little bit of lunging with the Surcingle. I'm just going to speed through the tacking up process. I want to show it because I just want to show you where he's at with it. He's still doing protected contact, like there. He kind of moved away. I showed him it, and he came right back, and he was being great. So I just kind of give him a little treat for every little part of the process here. I'm still using my whip slash target to grab the girth. My whip that is a target. So then I'm just kind of slowly tacking up in stages, and then once he's done with that, we'll go in there and start doing a little bit of lunging. But I just wanted to remind him of, or well, actually, I'm gonna have him follow me here, and then we'll go do a little bit of lunging. I like him to just walk around, make sure he's cool with that, being tight around him, and then he can still walk, and it's not a big deal. So these are all my kind of pre-working checklist here. And then I'll go ahead and go in there and do a little bit of lunging because I wanted to review that before I start like putting drive lines on and stuff like that. So we just go ahead and come back in here and I'll grab him and we'll do a little bit of desensitizing, or not desensitizing, lunging, and then desensitizing. So I'm just gonna ask him to go ahead and walk on the circle, and he's pretty good with doing the lunging. And again, I rather would use a target now, but this is what we did at the time, so this is just the Mustang's progress here. So I went ahead and desensitized him with the driving whip, and he just thought he was supposed to go into a trot. And then I just touched him with it, and he was fine. He broke back down, so I rewarded him for that. But my goal here is just to get him used to walking while I have that lunge whip, driving whip touching him, because that's going to be very similar to having the driving lines over him. So it's got that little tiny lash, so you can kind of see it move, but there's not like tons of lash or rope or something flying around. So this is kind of like an in-between exercise, so he can feel something moving on him, but I have a little bit more control of it, and it's not as intense as the drive line moving around. So that was my goal with this. And then I can make some noise with it too, like not snapping it, but I can slide it down the Surcingle or down the pads, and it kind of makes a little sound like we desensitized to at the standstill. And I'm just going to do that while we're walking. I'm asking him to go the other way. He just kind of was confused and kept going, and that's totally fine. Um, I'm not going to punish him. I'm just going to keep asking until he goes ahead and follows that rope, and he follows it beautifully. He's got a nice hindquarter yield. He's very responsive to the flexion in the rope, and he bends his neck, and he looks great. So I like all of that. He was very nice and soft with this too, but I just think he'd be better if he was following a target, and then you wouldn't activate that flight system, and he'd be a lot more relaxed. He's relaxed, but I'd like, get as relaxed as I possibly can. So I was touching him there with my driving whip and tossing that on him, and he was excellent. So I'm going to click and feed that. And I'll give him a second to chew that, and then we'll move on. But I just want to do like an intermediate step before I put on the drive lines. So he can just walk around, and I'll just kind of touch him and see the lash go up over his back and over that half pad. And then I'll ask him to trot and do the same thing with the trot. And he is so good with this. Like, he does excellent. I would like to do this with the target, but I still do think this is really important to be able to do with the horse before you ground drive them, before you ride them. And it really does a lot of good desensitizing work, and it gives you an idea of how the horse is going to be under saddle or in the drive lines. Because is he going to be responsive? Is he going to be scared of the sounds? Is he going to be scared of the movement? What's he going to do? So it gives you a good idea of all that. So same thing, have him trot the other way, and he's really nice. I like that he keeps going. There I clicked him because he was being good, and then he stopped, but he kept going in the trot while I touched him, and he was totally fine. Like he's excellent. So he passes all my things. Like he's got to already wear the Surcingle confidently. He's already got to lunge confidently. He's already got to be used to where he was standing on the round pen fence on the protected contact, and I had the rope go over him, and he listened to like the sound, so it wasn't scary. And then I moved on to this, and then we'll move on to desensitizing the drive lines, and then you move on to ground driving. All of these steps need to be done before you just start ground driving. So I know that's the end goal, but there's a bunch of little pieces that have to be done beforehand so that your horse can be successful. But he was excellent.